Hey, I like your tongue sticking out, buddy. All right, so this is a focus exercise that we're going to work on. Now, because he's a little dog, I'm on the ground. Normally, if I have a bigger dog, I would be sitting in a chair. And when I sit, I want my knees to be shoulder width apart. And I'm going to have a handful of treats in my left hand. I'm a right-handed person. I have one treat in my right. Because he's a little dog, I'm tearing these in half so they go a little bit further. And so he doesn't chew forever. So what I do in this exercise, I want him to look at me in the face voluntarily. So now some trainers will teach this by holding the treat up here, and you see I can lure him to look at me. I want him to be able to do this just on a verbal command. Now the way we do this and get here is I'm going to reward him only when he looks up at me. So I have a handful of treats here, a treat here, and I'm going to scooch a little bit closer to him. I don't want to spook him, but I want to have the hands so close to him that he's going to be attracted by the smell. When you do this, make sure you use a high value, really stinky, smelly treat. So I'm going to close my hands and make them look uniform like fists. When he looks up at me in the face, I want you to imagine there's a string that goes from between his eyes to between my eyes, like right here. So the first thing I do when he looks up at me is I'm going to break the string by holding the treat halfway between his face and my face. And now he's looking to see if there's any on the ground, any low-hanging fruit that he can get that don't have any strings attached. You're looking the wrong way, Lenny. Focus. Now I cheated there with a little bit of a sniffle. Some dogs I will do that, but I try not to at first. I really want to try to wait for him to look at me. Focus. So again, the string is here. So I want to break that string and then travel down the string. The goal is to keep him looking into your face the whole time. 1 second. Focus. So each movement right now is only 1 second. And you can see he's starting to look up at me faster and faster as we're doing this. Focus. Don't say the word until after the treat has gone into his mouth. Now if he licks your hand or scratches your hand or paws at it, don't give it to him, don't disagree, don't move your hand. Focus. Just wait for him to look up you in the face. And again, if it goes longer than like 30 seconds, you might make a sniffle or a sound to get him to look up at you the first couple times. Focus. Now right now it's 1 second on each movement. 1 second to raise it towards the string and then 1 second to go towards his mouth. Eventually I want to make that focus. The second movement, 20 seconds. So we get there by doing it very progressively. So when I do this, I have about 8 to 12 treats. Focus. Then I pop into his mouth and say the word focus. Now, once I've gone through all 8 or 12 treats, I would keep doing this until pretty much he's just staring at you like a stalker. And at that point, then you would go to the second move, you would use 2 seconds. I'll do it here. 1 second, 1, 2 seconds. Focus. Always say focus when it goes in his mouth. So eventually when it gets to the point where we're on 20 seconds for that second movement and we're keeping him looking up here. Don't skip, don't go by 5-second increments because then he starts looking around, what else can I get into? So keep doing that. You can see now he's giving me good facial contact. And it's just looking in the face, not necessarily looking in your eyes. Now, this is not to help with, this will help with guests and people that you see on the street. Eventually what we're going to do is when we're walking, we want to walk and then there's no dogs and no people around while we're on the walk. And this is only after we've gotten to our 20 seconds inside. Then what we do is we raise it up and as we're walking, we raise it up. We say focus and he looks up at us and we're going like this. So once we go outside, we're saying the command word first, then we're delivering the treat in that slow motion. Now we're not going to go 20 seconds at first. When it's focused, as soon as he looks at me, focus. He's a little dog, so they have to duck down a little bit. And we want to do this only when there are no people and dogs around. No construction, no trash trucks, no mail trucks. We want to make it as easy as possible for him to start doing this outside amongst distractions. So I'd probably do it in your house. I would probably next do it maybe just right out in front of your house or maybe in this little courtyard area. But again, when it's nice and quiet, there's not a lot of distractions. And then once you get to the point where you can do, and I would just do when you're doing it right out in your courtyard between the house and the fence, I would do the same way, where you're kneeling down, he's looking up at you and you're doing that. Go back to 1 second, because now you have a lot of distractions. It's easy for him to lose focus. Keep working at it till you get to the 20 seconds. I'd like you to be the 20 seconds inside the house within 7 days. And then I'd also like to get you to the point where you're outside the house within maybe 10 to 14 days maximum, where he's looking up at you. This one will work better if you do it 3 or more times a day, about 8 to 12 treats per time. That's a good sign. Usually he's very standoffish with strangers. It doesn't like them petting him. Oh, I got the magic spot. Oh, good boy, we like that. Yes. So then when we're walking, and we're walking about, then we're just going to say focus. And at this point, he should snap up and look at us, and we're going to go focus. Only do this again on walks when nobody's around. Then, once you got to the point where he really has this down second nature, you're walking down the street, at the end of your block, some man appears. Well, then I would say focus, get him to look up at me, and continue walking. And now I'm walking, and I'm kind of going a little bit slower on the treat delivery. So instead of having the dog focus on the guy, he's focusing on you. So now we have a good, nice way that we can redirect the dog's attention. And instead of looking at the guy, oh, look at the guy, he's getting closer, I'm getting myself more and more worked up, I'm getting ready to, and now I'm going to bark. So that's what's going on right now. There's a certain threshold or certain length of distance that he is going to be his reactive point, and then he's going to start barking at that point. When I was studying, when the guardian first came out of the house, it seemed, now I don't know if it's different because the guy had a dog, but he was able to get pretty close. It wasn't until he got done sniffing the dog that he reacted to the man. So we would want to you can do it with either one, but I would try to practice it with just people first. Now, for dogs, the distance is going to have a correlation how intense the reaction is going to be. So if you're walking and you see somebody's coming down the street, and this is Venice, so there aren't a lot of driveways, but if there is a driveway that you can move down, so maybe you would say focus and then take a turn down the driveway, go about 8 or so feet away from the driveway so the person can walk by and you're doing the focus exercise, but they're not so close that he has to break and look and react to that person. The idea is we want him to practice being around other people without reacting enough to the point, and we do this again, sub-threshold, without him reacting. And then gradually, instead of going 8 feet back in the driveway, we go to 7 feet, and 6 feet, and 5 feet. We keep on doing that until eventually we're just we just step right off the sidewalk and the person walks by and he's just looking up at us. Now, there is also a plan B that I would come up with for this. There's many times where somebody's going to come out, a dog's going to come out of a yard unexpectedly, or a person or somewhere that you're not ready for. What I do is I practice a U-turn. So when I'm walking and there's nobody around, every once in a while, if I always walk the dog, let's say on the left side, every once in a while I would just turn to my right. And when I turn, I would hold out a treat here. Now, as soon as he comes around, he's going to see the treat, I pop it in his mouth and I say the word turn or UE or whatever I want to use for the command word. I'm going to take 2 or 3 steps back the way that I came and do the same thing again and then continue. So you're doing a U-turn, 2 or 3 steps, another U-turn, and going 2 or 3 steps. We want to do this so that he gets used to, for some reason, every once in a while, my human just wants to do 2 U-turns in a row. Well, the idea for this is when we practice this enough, it becomes second nature. Then if somebody comes out unexpectedly, we can do a quick U-turn. Sometimes you'll be able to do it before the dog even has a chance to see the other person. And then we can walk away from him and he is none the wiser because we've practiced, conditioned him to turn. So this is how we can use a focus exercise to redirect our dog's attention and prevent them from getting in trouble in the first place.